Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, December 28th. Skipped yesterday. Gamed with my buddies after work. Was fun. It's been a few weeks since we've gotten to do that, so that was nice to get to do. Today, I got off work and I have been continuing to work a bit on the Christmas vlog. Obviously, by the time you get this, you've seen that. But for me, it's taking days to try and edit it. Whole lot of footage to cut down. A lot of it is shaky camera trying to, line up a shot, or confusing everyone talking over everybody and you can't understand what anyone says, or lots to edit. I've been working on that a bit, but it's Tuesday, and well, I'll bring it up in a couple days again. I wouldn't want to miss a week of movie day now at this point, so I'm gonna watch a movie, and I think what I'm gonna watch is Fantasia 2000. See, right now there's a few movies in theaters that would be fun to watch, and earlier in the week I was thinking maybe I'd go see one of those, but as it turns out, I'm just kind of feeling a little lazy today, and I don't feel like going out. I don't feel like going out at all. It's also kind of cold out. So I'm going to just stay inside, and Fantasia 2000 is one that I watched the first, Fantasia a few weeks ago. And it shares a box with the other one, so in order to really pull it out on the shelf, I gotta finish watching the other one, of course. So that'll be fun. So I'll watch Fantasia 2000. And Fantasia 2000, while a good movie, is another one that's hard to pin down a rating for, because like Fantasia before it, it's a series of, it's a collection of little shorts to music. That's what Fantasia is. But I do have the rating of the first one to help give me a benchmark, and so for this one, I think I will give Fantasia 2000 a 7.7. I would say it is slightly better than the first. Now, the first has a lot of nostalgia for me, and I love it. And some of those animated shorts I've known since I was a small child, and I love them more than some of the shorts in here, for sure. But as far as a presentation, it's tighter. It's a shorter film, and a lot of it, and it doesn't feel necessarily like that. It doesn't feel like I'm missing out on anything, like, oh, there's fewer pieces. It just feels like they've managed to tighten things up between the shorts, make it where it's just the entertaining bit and you just move on. Fantasia 2000 begins with some paper flying through that has the animation of the first Fantasia on it, or not even necessarily the animation, but scenes from the first one. In that, you see and hear some of the beginning of the first Fantasia, where it explains, cut a little tighter, made a little, just the part that you need to catch. It explains what the concept of Fantasia is. Here is animation put to music. There are some that tell a definite story, some that we've interpreted a story with, and some that are just animation and music for their own sake. And it even says, the same line, same person introducing it from the first one, from when they introduce it, that's where they begin. And so we begin with Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. And it does not do as good of a job at being abstract animation to music. It doesn't. It feels like there are butterflies, and there are bubbles, and there are explosions of volcano. Like, there are definitive, like, no, here is a thing. It's not quite as abstract. It is more entertaining and a better way to start the movie. It was just better. And then we get to our first guest host, Steve Martin. Ah, I know that guy. He's the funny guy. And you know what he's doing? He's being funny. And this will be something throughout. They have a number of celebrity guest hosts. Instead of having one individual who may be known within the music world, but isn't necessarily known to the wider audience, introducing and, welcoming each new piece of the presentation, each new animation put to music. Instead, we have celebrity guests. That is an improvement. It is. Because it keeps things entertaining, moving forward. It keeps you pulling through the moments between the actual shorts. He mentions in it that the dream of Fantasia is that it would continually be worked on, and you would see it from time to time, and it would have some new pieces, like some new shorts and some old, repeated. It's important that he mentions this from the beginning when we get to a repeat later. And he mentions that that dream was dropped until now. This movie, which came out in 1999, like December of 1999, so just before the year 2000, hence the name. This presented, hey, we're picking it up. And at least according to Wikipedia, I know that it said that they were going to do another one after this, a few years after this. And it got dropped. And that makes me sad, because I would love to see more Fantasia. And I hope that they, within my lifetime, do a third one at least. I would love to see more. Because I like animation. And this movie is a mix between traditional and 3D animation. In general, a lot of times, like, individual shorts have some amount of 3D animation and some amount of 2D animation. So yeah, we start... We move on to others. We get Pines of Rome, a scene about flying whales in the frozen Arctic. A little surreal, but interesting. We move on to, Rhapsody in Blue. This is my favorite. This is the one that I think of when I think of Fantasia 2000. And it is unusual because it's not what I think of as, this is the kind of animation or type of story. It's modern. It's not really modern. It's probably Depression era setting of New York. But it tells a definite story. There are definite characters that, and you don't have any dialogue because it is just the music. It is animation put to music, but you can tell what their hopes and dreams are and the situation that they're living in, and you can watch as their situation turns around, and these characters that you're introduced to have their dreams come true, and all in kind of interconnected ways. Brilliant. Weird, but cool animation style. Lovely color palette. Very much blue color palette, but with colors around it, but very blue focused. Rhapsody in Blue is wonderful. We get Piano Concerto number 2, Allegro Opus 102. Whatever. It's the Persistent Tin Soldier? The Steadfast Tin Soldier. It is some old story. It's a soldier, like a little tin soldier, who falls in love with like a ballerina dancing, like, music box. But has to go through some trials to get to her and eventually murder a evil Jack-in-the-Box. But he gets the girl in the end. And it is one that strikes me quite an unusual look, but 3D animation. But ultimately, I don't mind it as much in this, because the point with Fantasia is that they're supposed to be trying things, learning things of different animation styles as they go. So, as the 1999, them learning and developing 3D animation, I mean, I am sure this was important to what Disney's animation has become since. I miss the traditional animation in Disney, but obviously they've been successful with a lot of 3D animation. I can't deny that, even though I am bitter about it, and I'm like, sit down and draw stuff. Quit 3D designing in your computer. I mean, they're successful. It's why they keep doing it. We then get to Carnival of the Animals, the finale. And it answers the age-old question of what would happen if you gave a flock of flamingos a yo-yo. And it's short. It is just the finale. And that's one of the things that they've done here to help tighten things up. Is they don't necessarily do the entire, if a musical piece is 20 minutes long, they're not necessarily doing that whole 20 minutes. They're doing the part that works for what they need to tell. And so this is the finale of that. And it tells a silly little story of a flamingo playing with a yo-yo when the rest of the flamingos don't like it. It's funny and entertaining, and we move on. And then we get the Sorcerer's Apprentice. This is the same animation as original Fantasia. This is one of the returning acts, the returning scenes. So if Steve Martin at the beginning hadn't have told us that was going to happen, it might seem weird. But we were prepared, and so this is the one that they return with. For the most part, whatever. Except, in the original Fantasia, at the end of it, Mickey runs up in silhouette to Stravinsky, the composer, tugs on him, talks to him, says something. And in this one, that's included, and then he runs away. But in this one, we back up, and he runs up to composer on this one and talks to him. While you see the silhouette of the composer from the first one in the background, he explains what's going on, Mickey does, and then says, I gotta go find Donald for the next scene, and runs off, and we see as composer here is killing time for Mickey to go find Donald. It ties them directly together, and for that, I am glad that Sorcerer's Apprentice is repeated. And then we get to Pomp and Circumstance, marches 1, 2, 3, and 4. The graduation song. Here, telling the story of Noah's Ark, with Donald and Daisy being two of the animals about, or the Ark, given some extra responsibility, given the fact that they are, or at least Donald is given responsibility that he is a sapient, intelligent creature. Sentient creature. That's the word I was looking for. But really, the play between it is that they both, Donald and Daisy, think that the other failed to get on until the very end, when they're leaving the boat, and they manage to find each other and rejoice that they both survived the flood. And then we get to our final piece, which is Firebird Suite, 1919 version, which has a very anime-like artistic style. Again, they're playing with animation at Disney with this, and that is brilliant. And it is scene of nature spirit, spreading nature, volcano coming up, killing everything, nature spirit coming and bringing regrowth after the volcano. And then we get end credits, which helps, which really helps. Because in the first Fantasia, the final number ends and it's just over. Nowadays, there have to be credits to credit the people that have done work. And so it allows them to kind of go and you see the orchestra clearing up and it just feels like the end instead of like the reel ran out. So, again, it helps. So yeah, in general, it is very comparable to the first one, which is good, because I liked the first one. But it is a little tighter, I'll say a little better, but still, very comparable. And like I said with the first one, I hope they do more. I like it. I like it in concept. The concept and the theory are things I really enjoy. So I like when they do it. But, so that's what, Fantasia 2000? Come on, Disney, shoot for Fantasia 2025, please. Oh, I wish. Otherwise, with my evening, I'm probably going to try and keep working on the Christmas vlog edit, because I got a ways to go still on that. But I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues.